but half of that is 3/4 of an inch. So I'd mark that on both ends, and then that's what's going to line up with these little doodads. I've got the line marked on that one, but I don't have them marked on this one, and that will help keep everything square, get centered up, and go from there. And then I'll show you how we put the legs on when we get to that point. Okay, as a short thing here, I said about the line. I don't know if you can see down that line, but I am right there on that line. It's off just a little bit, which I will probably correct. But when you get done, and make sure that everything's square, and you don't have to second guess yourself and whatnot. This is just one end, and again, the trick is to lay it down, find a flat surface, get these level, follow that line that you made down the side of your thing, line them up, screw it in. Piece of cake, right? Haha. Now, as a side note, I lined up with this line on the side here with my speed square. You can use a regular square, and then that is what dictated where to drill my holes. It makes them nice and level and straight. And well, this is off a little bit, but you get the idea. I'm a little cramped on workspace and kind of in a hurry, so never get in a hurry doing this. Okay, also as another side note, when you screw these in, sometimes it will push this board away or whatever you're screwing into. So if that happens, what you'll have to do is back your screw out of this board that it's going into and re-put it in, and then hold them up tight as you do it, obviously. And normally that seats them pretty good. Now this is our main frame. This is what's down below here in the main thing down here that you can see down there. You can kind of see, but that's our frame there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the legs on. There are 4 legs back there, and I'll show you how to get those straight, but I got to set it up, and I can't hold on to the camera and do all that at once, so bear with me here. Okay, here's a little cheat that I do, and you can build a table like this, but eventually these are going to be the top, the top that goes across the legs. But I use them for spacers just so that way I got something basic level to go off of. And what I'm going to do is I cut these are not screwed in. They're just cut to 7 inches, I believe. Basically the height that I want that bar at from the top. And now you're looking, this would be the top, and then this would be the top, this would be the bottom. But I didn't quite cut them long enough, so I had to cheat, and I put this little spacer thing up there, and then I grabbed one of my legs over here that I could almost get to. And what I'll do is I'll do the same thing there. Okay, that'll give me my distance on my cross beam where I want it to be. Okay, this will actually be the bottom, like I said. And that might be a little too high for whatever you're wanting to do, or low. But you can tell on this one where I put it down lower because obviously it's got bracing up here. So that's what my goal was in putting this little spacer in there. It does create a problem at times. But again, what I will do is I will find the middle of this board. Okay, and then I will put lines down for this board, and I'll mark the height while I'm here. That way I know where I'm going. And what I'll actually do is I'll do that on this side too, where I put the screws in at. That way I've got a center line to drill on, and I know what area I can stay in. And I'll actually draw out the lines for it. So that's, I won't need to draw the lines out on this side for that, but I just need the center line. That way I know where I'm at. And again, those lines help keep everything square, and then you don't have to second guess things and whatnot. And the fun part is when you go to put the top on. Hopefully that'll be here in a little bit. But let me mark this real quick. I'll show you how I got it marked up there again. I'm just going half of it this way, marking it here. Okay, and marking it here while I got it up here. Finding the middle of this board. I'm going to find the middle of this board. We're going to line the 2 middle lines up. and then this will be also centered too. That just gives me an extra reference. Do you have to have those extra 2 lines? No, but you can put a center line on the bottom too, and then you can tell what I'm trying to do is keep this from being that way or that way, if that makes sense. It looks like it's going to rain here. It's about the middle of the night here. So, and if you're wondering what the sniffing is, I've got my dog that is one of my dogs that's over there doing whatever she does. So, anyway, here's another cool little trick with this thing, okay? Now, this is unique to the Swan Speed Square. Again, I'm not promoting anything. I'm not backed by them or anything else. But if you notice, they know exactly where the edge of the board is. You can put your pencil in there and scribe for a board. Now, also, they have these notches. And I know it's 3.5 inches wide. Half an inch is a quarter. Half of 3 is 1.5 inches. Added together, you got 1 3/4 inches. The nice part is they have this nice little notch right here. You can slide your pencil in and then slide the ruler with it, and it makes a nice straight line all the way down, as long as you keep this to the side. You don't have to get anything this fancy, or you know, these are little cheap ones. They come in plastic. A lot of them have their little things that they, you know, all different kinds of speed squares. Somewhere in this mess is a carpenter square. Those are awesome for what to do. And then I have a bigger speed square that's like 12 inches by that. But again, the same thing I'm going to do with this is I'll find the centers this way on all these legs, and then when I find my height on here, on this one, I will line them up side by side like I did the other one. Let's see if I can kind of show you. Again, pardon my camera work, but we line the ends up like so, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll find our marks for there, and we'll just put it across there, and we'll mark out for our you know, where our width is here on this. And so that's, we know that keeps everything the same height here, there, over there, and all that. Even if they get off a little bit here, it keeps things square, keeps everything uniform, and it just saves on a whole lot of trouble later. Okay. As you can tell, I marked the top here, that's this. Marked my thickness of my board there. So when it lies in there, like this, I know it's underkill, but okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, mark my other 4 boards. That keeps everything consistent height-wise here. I'll mark this as top. That way I know it's facing up is actually the bottom. But now the other thing I like to do is put my pencil on the line, like so, and move the square into it, keeping this firmly planted. It just helps keep from moving things around and stuff. So I'm going to do this on these other 3 boards that are left. I'm using this as the pattern. The cool part about this is, you know, they're 1.5 inches wide, so you know you're at the center here. And then you go from here, because you know, half of 3.5, 1.5 inches is half of 3, quarters of that. So you're at 1 3/4 inches. You know you're at 1 3/4 inches. And you know, there's an inch, there's the other, so you know 3/4 of an inch both ways, and you're good. So, because these are 1.5 inches, okay? So 3/4 of an inch that way, 3/4 of an inch that way. See, and that kind of works out. So, but that's, you know, like I said, 2.5 is where the other one's going to be at. So 2.5 and 1. See, it just happens to work out that way on this. So yeah, like I said, we just use a little drill bit here for our pilot hole, and then when we get done, that's what the center lines here are marked for on the outside, so I can tell what's going on. Because I did this on both sides, I'll just do this on the inside of these lines. So anyway, let me get this done, and I'll get back to you. Okay, we will have to make this a part 2 because we've got some lighting going on out there, and the lights just flickered in here, and my dog's nervous wreck. So we will continue this tomorrow, and but you can see that I marked these out. You can't really see these lines here, but you can kind of see the center lines too. But we'll get back to it tomorrow. It'll be another part in the series, haha.